So recently there's been a picture going around where basically they have the GOATs of anime in a Mount Rushmore style format, and I've seen a lot of people say Ichigo doesn't deserve to be up there, where I completely disagree. Now, I've never done any Bleach content on my channel, no clue why. It's one of my favorite animes, it's in my top 10, and Ichigo's one of my favorite MCs. And Bleach gets a lot of hate for no reason. It's kind of crazy because it's actually really good. A lot of people say Bleach is only relevant because it's a part of the big three, and if you guys don't know what that is, it includes Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach because of how popular their manga sales were in the early 2000s. But I actually think that Bleach being a part of the big three hurts more than it helps. And I'm not saying people shouldn't compare these anime, but Bleach is going to lose to the other two every time because you could say One Piece is the most successful and most popular manga series ever, and Naruto is the most popular anime of all time. So Bleach is already fighting a losing battle. I think if it weren't associated with the big three, people wouldn't criticize it as hard and it would get more love and respect. A big issue for Bleach is that people believe Ichigo's a bland MC, comparing him to Luffy, Goku, Naruto, and a bunch of other MCs where he's not as bland as you guys think he is. Now, I haven't read it yet because I'm still contemplating if I want to wait till the anime comes back with some fresh and fire animation or if I should just read it. But for this video, we're not including anything with the 1000 Blood War arc simply because, well, I know nothing about it. However, most people I've talked to, they said Ichigo gets even better as an MC during that arc. So once I'm finally caught up with the 1000 Blood War arc, I'll probably do a video where I can finally rank and compare the big three. But this video I'll only be comparing the MCs a little bit just to prove how Ichigo isn't as bad and as bland as people make him out to be. And because Ichigo gets hated on so much, I'd argue he's an underrated MC. But if you guys enjoy regular anime content, then make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. With that out of the way, my name is Potential Unleashed, and let's see if Ichigo is a bad MC. An underrated aspect about Ichigo is his backstory. He killed his mom. Imagine the most important person to you who every time you saw them, you could do nothing but smile, and because of your actions, they were taken away from you. And I'm being a little hard on him because it was more like he indirectly got her killed instead of him actually killing her. But because Ichigo could see spirits, he was so young he couldn't discern the difference between actual humans and spirits, so he rushed out to save somebody. He thought that it was an actual person drowning. His mother died trying to protect him being hit by a train. So his actions caused her to die, and he has to live with that. Now, it's kind of cool that his father, Yuzu, and Karen, they don't hold it against him. However, Ichigo is the way he is because of this instance and this situation. He's always so hard on himself, and he tries to burden everything alone, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the video. Unlike characters like Yukihiro Soma wanting to be the greatest chef, Monkey D. Luffy wanting to become the Pirate King, Goku being the strongest fighter, Naruto Uzumaki becoming the Hokage, Izuku Midoriya wanting to become the greatest hero, and a bunch of other MCs with goals, Ichigo doesn't have a goal that makes him stand out or something where he's seen as the best, if you will. But his goal is to be strong enough to be able to protect those he cares about in his family and friends, and so that he's strong so nobody ever has to worry about him. He gets a lot of hate because fighting for your friends isn't anything new. Look at Natsu, Luffy, Goku, and other MCs. However, Ichigo actually is a little bit different. Earlier, I talked about Ichigo being hard on himself, trying to burden everything alone, which is true. Most MCs are the opposite, where usually they help those that are burdening things alone. Look at Luffy, his whole thing is not to burden things alone. That's what having friends are for. We saw it time and time again. He saved Robin, Chopper, Vivi, Sanji, Nami, and a lot of other characters. Naruto's whole story, well, primarily was him going after Sasuke, trying to convince him that he's not alone, but Ichigo's different. Ichigo wants to carry the burden so that those around him don't have to. And it's not that he doesn't think his friends aren't strong. We've seen what Renji, Rukia, Inoue, Chad, Ishida, and others are capable of doing, but because of his actions, he doesn't want the same thing to happen to his friends that happened to his mom, dying trying to protect him. We see his character development where he went from shooting and not wanting his friends to be involved to where he actually wants them by his sides. And I know I said no spoilers, however I did see one scene where Ichigo actually wanted Inoue by his side and assisting him fighting whoever the main villain is. Let's look at the Fullbring arc. Ichigo lost his powers, and this was really the first time where he'd ever been a burden on those around him. Usually he was always the strongest around, and people looked to him when all hope was lost. However, when he lost his powers for the second time, this was the first time Ichigo was actually a burden on those he wanted to protect. He was always the first to jump into action. Look at the Soul Society, him battling Renji, learning Benkai, fighting Byakuya, all the havoc left in his dust for Rukia. During the Arrancar arc, Ichigo went to Hueco Mundo, fought Grimjo, Ikiura for Inoue, and don't even get me started about Aizen. The fact that he gave up his spiritual pressure to complete the final Getsu Tensho is touching, the art of self-sacrifice. But back to the point at hand, seeing someone who always is strong-willed and strong-minded lose his powers believing he's weak, loses all hope and go into despair because he lost motivation and faith in himself is great writing. Even though he saved the world from Aizen, he blames himself that if only he was stronger, if only he did more, he wouldn't have had to lose his powers and cause trouble for others, where I say Ichigo was just being too hard on himself. Now, Ichigo does have some standard MC tropes, like he's oblivious to the girl that likes him, he's a prodigy and can learn stuff really quickly. We saw him learn the Getsu Tensho, Benkai, his hollow form, the final Getsu Tensho, and he probably has learned something new in the manga. He makes allies with his enemies and fights for those he cares about. He has dope transformations. I'd say they're some of the best in anime. And unlike a lot of other MCs, Ichigo's actually smart. I believe he was 23rd ranked in his class, and the only reason why it dropped wasn't because he was stupid, but because he was so busy with his Soul Reaper duties. But to conclude, is Ichigo a bad MC? No, he's not a bad or bland like people make him out to be. He has a great backstory, goals, resolve, he's strong, and overall a well-written MC who gets overly hated. But let me know your guys' thoughts about Ichigo in the comment section. You guys like him? Do you guys hate him? How do you guys feel about him? Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also hit that notification bell so you never miss out on a new video from me. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat is on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.